Protesters smashed through these windows overnight to get inside. They barricaded the doors with furniture. They shouted pro-Palestinian slogans, and they hung a banner reading Intifada, which means rebellion or uprising. The university is telling people to avoid the Morningside Heights campus until further notice. Here's part of a statement they sent out just hours ago, emphasizing the safety of every single member of the community is paramount. In light of the protest activity, we've asked members of the university who can avoid coming to the campus. Essential personnel should report to work. Access to the campus has been limited to students in residential buildings and employees who provide essential services to campus buildings, labs, and residential student life. Jessica Schwalb is a student at Columbia. She has been documenting the chaos on campus, and she was in the middle of all of this overnight. Thank you for being with us, Jessica. Tell me what exactly is happening now on your campus.
Well, right now it's a lot calmer. For the most part, everyone is asleep. I've seen a lot of people asleep on tables in the library where I am right now, or in sleeping bags, huddled next to each other right outside of the doors of Hamilton Hall, and also right outside of the doors of the undergraduate admissions office, and right above on the top, the ceiling, or above on top of the undergraduate admissions office is probably 20 chairs, and just there's furniture strewn just about everywhere. And last night I witnessed things that I never thought could occur on Columbia's campus, such as the bashing in of those windows, the barricading of doors with very heavy metal tables that once had lunches on them with very happy families and newly admitted students. So just to see the dichotomy of like what I knew Columbia to be and what I saw last night is very scary.
So as you're watching all of this happen, where is campus police? Are there any authorities?
No, they honestly were nowhere to be found last night until I rounded the corner a few hours later and saw two of them sitting next to a group of Palestinian protesters, and they were just silent. I think one of them said that they needed backup, but truly it was just the mob and a few of us who were trying to document all of this.
So we have been told by NYPD that they have not been asked to assist in the situation at this point. How have you felt your personal safety through all of this as you have videotaped some of the chaos?
I felt my personal safety has definitely been jeopardized. However, I would still believe that the majority of these students burglarizing this building do not want to face as severe consequences as maybe some of the few other professional burglars who actually vandalized the building, as you can see in these photos. So I wasn't terribly afraid. I was still definitely very scared. But I mean, as soon as I saw students being physically assaulted and having a human chain corralled around them and tried to shove them out, the boy in the video right there in the light blue shirt, that really was an alarm bell being sound off and sort of gave me the hint that maybe I should leave.
And who is the boy in the blue shirt? Not specifically, but like who is he with, and who's in charge of this group? Are they students?
So the two gentlemen in the blue shirts, they are students. I believe they are in Columbia College. They honestly just saw the chaos that was happening and took the heroic steps to try to intervene and prevent the mob from pushing another metal table up against the wall. And what the mob wanted to do was zip tie two metal tables, very heavy, together to ensure that the barricade could not be moved or would take a very long time to be moved. And they stepped in the way. And as you can see here, the boy is getting assaulted, and the mob was just completely relentless. And again, public safety was absolutely nowhere to be found. And after this assault occurred, many of my friends called NYPD and none of them came.
Right. And I mean, these situations can go from bad to worse really quickly. They're just trying to protect the building, and there's a mob of people around them. I just want to be clear where you are right now. You're in the library? Where are you in relation to Hamilton Hall?
Yeah, I'm in Butler Library. So it's about like, I would say 250 feet from Hamilton Hall. But I do live in the dorm building where people were photographed having snuck into the dorm building from the outside, from the windows, literally climbing in from the 114th Street into John Jay.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.